Okay, welcome back to Science. Today we're going to talk about some feedback that you're going to get from Hannah Wong from the tsunami system, the warning system that you submitted to her yesterday. This is an example of a letter that you're going to get. It's over in the Futura um, internship inbox. So you go to Amplify and then go to Futura Engineering Workspace, and then from there you should look in your inbox and you'll see this waiting for you over there. If you haven't submitted your project to Hannah Wong, then you're going to want to do that as quickly as possible. Then come talk to me, and I can give you a letter of feedback. Hopefully, that can happen in the first couple minutes of class. Okay, so to understand whether Hannah's feedback suggests that your results are strong, moderate, or weak, I want you to look for phrases that state if something is good, just okay, or not great, and needs a lot of improvement. These phrases are clues on how to make changes to your next iterations. I've highlighted a couple phrases here that can help you understand what we're seeing. So this is about average warning time. There's also one about false alarms, and then there's also one about interpreting feedback for, I'm sorry, for the total 50-year cost. So let's take a look just for the first one. And I've highlighted in yellow the portions that have to do with the feedback for average warning time. It says it's good, but more time would be better. So this isn't as good as it could be. And the reason we just want to be able to give people enough time to get to safety. In the next one, I've highlighted in green portions that suggest that you have strongly addressed the criteria for false alarms. The results for this were great. But try to make sure your false alarms in the next one are like this one. So don't trade this off for something else. Make sure that you try to keep this criteria just where it is. This last criteria is explaining that for the total 50-year cost, it's actually very expensive, and you probably wouldn't see this actually work because the country would have a very hard time keeping the system working. It would come at the cost of schools or new roads or something like that. So if Hannah says something like this, that's definitely something that you're going to want to be working on. You're going to get a paper in just a moment that allows you to sort of organize all of the feedback. And it's going to show you the average warning time, and then the feedback from your project director, and then how many false alarms you had, and what's the feedback that she gave you here, and then what's the total your costs and all of this. So this will allow you to organize all of the feedback you get into one little table or chart. The colors here show you the different colors for whether it's strong, moderate, or weak feedback. And so you can see that here on your letter, this example letter, it was pretty moderate feedback for this, for the average warning time. It was very strong feedback for false alarms, and not very good, pretty poor feedback for this, or sorry, the design is pretty poor. So you can see here that this is color coded to mean those same things. So it just means if it's strong, if your design is moderate, or if it's weak. And you can use highlighters or color pencils and that kind of thing in order to sort of show that you understand if something is strong, moderate, or weak. One final thing that I'll say is I know that it's very hard to address all three criteria equally well, but it's important to try to improve your design as much as possible for each criterion. Sometimes to strongly address one criterion, you have to give up how well you address another. These are trade-offs, and you probably experience trade-offs and decisions in your daily lives all the time. A trade-off, an example, just the definition of it, is when you have to give up one thing in order for another. At Futura, engineers consider trade-offs in their designs when they prioritize each criteria over another. It will be difficult for you to have the criteria strong in all three areas, but I want you to try to have that be your goal. Yesterday, you submitted your design. It was a formative assessment, but your final design will be a summative assessment. So you want to make sure that you can explain why you chose one criteria over another if you made a trade-off. Okay, so now that we know that it would be impossible to have strong in all three criteria, it's also important that we understand that the word optimum just means most successful considering the situation. So think about what the three criteria are, and if you're making a trade-off, make sure that you can justify why you think that your design is the most optimum one to do. At the end of today, the things that you should give to your teacher are a form that shows all the feedback that you've organized it. You have a form that looks just like this, and you'll get one of those from the teacher. for me. And then also, you're going to have a chance to fill in a second form that really addresses trade offs. So be thinking thoughtfully about your trade off. In your final design, you'll be submitting a proposal, which is a written essay where you propose your design to Hannah. So you're going to want to be able to talk about trade offs and all those things. So the form that you're filling in today in class is going to help you, and you'll be able to use that on your final design. Okay, good luck today.